snacks.
What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. I am here with Sin, and you are now tuned into Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about all of the things that are happening in pop culture. And today, what up, Domingo? Today we got a lot to discuss. We're gonna talk about the state of gaming, which is probably going to get a little more in depth than we had initially intended. If you happen to be a Patreon member and you check out the Snack and a Hanger episode that we just did, you'll get a little bit of a preview of that and kind of get some additional information there. But definitely going to highlight that. We cannot not talk about the Captain America Brave New World trailer. We also can't not talk about the in-depth look at the Thunderbolts because that's necessary. What's up, Heather? It's gonna be a show. It's a packed show. There's a lot going on. As you can see, somebody's missing.
It is what it is.
Ain't that right, Sam?
Yep.
Yeah. Look, not taking bets tonight. You know what I mean? We're just gonna let things be what they are. But positive the jokes will be here before the show is over. Duty calls. Work is work. Life is life. Love is love. Love is love. I don't know if you know nothing about that, Sam, but that's what it is. So Sin is going to, in Joe's absence, take care of some of that. There it is. There it is, Kay. Man, had to work. Cuddy said, "Hey, yo, with an old school WHH number one. One. Sin.
Yes.
Do Joke's job so you can do yours. Beacon's link going up for everyone.
Yep, that's up.
And again, that's the best way to follow us everywhere we are. We're busy and staying busy. Sin, you got a job to do.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbaye, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
We absolutely do. Thank you so much for your support. Sin?
Yes, sir.
Briefly before we went live, we talked about the state of gaming, where things are, and so forth. I said, look, got to put a pin in that. Got to put a pin in that. We got to have this discussion in front of all the people. You know what I mean? We need to kind of talk about what's going on with the game. So, I guess the big question sent right now is, are games getting too big? Or are they too big? And when I say that, I mean that in terms of not just gigabytes, right? Because we do have some like ridiculous, like in the amount of data and space that a single game can take up on your hard drive, on your system, is kind of beyond ridiculous as it is. But also in terms of the amount of time it takes to play a game to completion. Like, even if you're not trying to do everything there is to do in the game, to play a game to completion. So let's start there. Are games too big?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it depends on like what genre of a game we're talking about. You know what I mean? If it's an RPG, they've always felt big to me because they're these big, massive worlds that you go out and you explore and all that kind of stuff. So those feel right to be big. Everything doesn't need to be so like massive and grand as that. Like our third person, like Souls likes or action adventure type of things, whatever. Those can be a good 12 to 30 hour run, as long as
12 to 30.
It depends on the game. Let's say it just depends on like what type of game. You know what I mean? Like a Devil May Cry don't need to be that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if they're gonna have like a more open kind of aspect to it, depending on how the leveling system and just stuff in that world works, you kind of you slide that
See,
shit across.
I think that's part of the problem. I think you just mentioned something that I think is part of what the actual issue is. Is that now everything is an RPG.
I do agree with that. Everybody takes RPG elements and tries to put them into everything. Yeah. So everyone was
So
RPG.
if you're leveling up constantly, like if you have to have a game that moves at a pace that actually allows you to feel like you're getting stronger, things are getting better, we're giving you new abilities and new techniques, and everything's got a skill tree, and you could go down this path, but you could also go down this path, and you have all these decisions to make, and whatever. Where it used to just be like, as you play, like even if there were some elements of like you get stronger as you play, you get better as you play, like it might, a game like a Devil May Cry might like teach you a new technique on like the third level, you know what I mean? And then you'll
Hey, you
need
now
that
have
technique against
shotguns
certain
instead of
enemies,
pistols. Yeah.
you know what I mean, later on in the game. But like, I think that as more and more games have allowed RPG elements to bleed into every genre, right? Like action adventure, shooter, like there's just a consistent, like, oh well, the game needs to be longer so that it actually feels like you're getting stronger, or you need to spend more time doing this to earn enough points to get a new level so that you can, do this, and like you can get to that next more powerful and then like you also don't want it to be that, like, I can certainly recall playing games where like you don't get the best thing until the very end, and then you barely get to use it, you know what I mean, or you don't really have access to it or something like that, which maybe is a really good reason for there to be a shorter game, but maybe a new game plus or something like that, right? But I think that's part of it. I think that it's just gotten to be that the elements of RPGs have they became so popular, right? As they started to add those things into every shooter, every whatever. Well, now it needs to take longer. It needs to be, you know. I guess the other thing that comes to mind is like as a as a as a medium, video games is still relatively young, even though it's like 45 years old, right? Or long or older, right? And so when you look at other forms of entertainment, the other two major forms of entertainment, right, would be like film and television and then music, right? So it's film and television, it's music, and it's video games. Like those are the big three, right? And music has been around for as long as music's been around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just is what it is, right? And the film and television industry has been around for, long enough to kind of get through a lot of the growing pains, and their most recent and newest growing pains come out of the internet's strength in the last 20 years. What's happened with YouTube, and then eventually what happened with Netflix, and what happened with DVD, and then what happened with streaming. Like those things are all things that have played a part in the industry struggles. Video games as a relatively new medium, over the last, let's say 30 years, almost, let's say 40 years, right? Over the last 40 years, how your content is delivered to you, right? But then, unlike other mediums, this is a medium that originally was seen as something that was just for kids. Video games were toys. And now as a developer, as a creator, you have to be able to create in a space that really does ask you, how do you satisfy 50-year-olds and 8-year-olds, right? Like, and that's not really a thing. What's up, G? That's not really a thing that exists in other genres in the same way,
yeah,
right? Like, obviously there's radio and there's radio friendly, right? And there's that as far as music is concerned. Obviously there's a rating system within movies and television, and there are people who create just for kids, and there are people who create for adults and adult content. Video games doesn't really have that. There is certainly content that you can look at and you can say certainly shouldn't be played by children. Hey, man. And that's been around for a while, but you got to remember that like there was no rating system until like 92.
Yeah.
With Mortal Kombat. Like Mortal Kombat is where that really started. And then your heavy hitters later on, your GTA. We certainly got to get in front of this. That hot coffee.
Ooh.
We got to get in front of this. And fix some things, right?
It's a whole nother talking point. Every time a new Grand Theft drops, something.
Well, when you think about it, right? When your biggest games in the world, though, Fortnite. Who's playing Fortnite? Everyone.
Yeah.
The age range is ridiculous. And it's a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids. I mean, like, I would say that Fortnite probably has the largest group of people that probably play are somewhere between like 8 and 12, 8 and 13. Yet, they just introduced Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Ice Spice.
They sure did.
Into the game. Who is that for?
Ooh, that's for everyone. I feel like, again, because Ice Spice for the youngest kids.
Is it though? Hold on, sir.
the teens, the Ice Spice, I would say, is the teens.
It's not for you.
Yeah, not for me. Like Snoop and Eminem fit more in my demographic. You know what I mean? So it's
of the three artists, right? That you that you could take and put into the game at the same time. Snoop, Eminem, and Ice Spice.
Hey, look, I don't. You're right. She's the odd woman out on that one, but hey, she has the fan base. She has a following.
Meanwhile, there's Lego Fortnite. You have the Fortnite music game in there. You have the Fortnite racing in there, right? Like this is a thing that like really speaks to everyone. And then probably the next biggest game is like Minecraft. Right? And it's in schools, it's all over the place. It's one of the biggest games in the world. Still to this day, people don't really think about it, but it's constant. It's consistent, right? And then there's like Roblox, which is like consistently in the news for needing to do a better job of protecting kids from adults that are in, you know what I'm saying, in the game. I don't know if you saw it.
People getting, oh, you gave your picture to this weird dude online or whatever you think is a kid. Like, I see all that type of disgusting crap online.
It's an online thing anyway.
Yeah.
I just saw a video that, I mean, I cried when I cried. And it's like, it's a thing from Call of Duty. I'll probably send it to you. It's a bunch of people playing Call of Duty, and the dudes are running around shooting each other or whatever, and you just hear this little kid's voice be like, did everybody get good Halloween candy? And like this grown man's like, man, shut the up. Like, and everybody's laughing or whatever. And I'm laughing at it because one of the people laughing in the background sounds like me. Like it sounds like I'm in there chuckling, right? But again, this is where we are. Like you have kids who are like 7 or 8 playing with people who are
grown ass men and women.
the state of games, like games is just in a weird place, I feel like now, where again we're seeing consistent layoffs, right? Like it's gotten to itself where the bubble is bursting and it can't sustain itself. You can't have a game like Concord that spends 8 years in gestation and then comes out and only lasts for 2 weeks and then it's gone, right? You got to lay those people off. You got to shut down a whole studio, you know. And we're starting to kind of see, I think, a resurgence of like double A games. Everything has been AAA. It's either been AAA or indie, is what it feels like, right? You got the downloadable DLC kind of indie, even like 8-bit, 16-bit looking games, and then you have the go all out, spend a few $100 million making a games, and there hasn't really been a space in the middle for that. Like the middle fell out like towards the end of, I'd say, like the PS3, Xbox 360 era. And now I think we're starting to see more of that, and I think companies are beginning to take it more seriously, the idea that they need to kind of think about those things.
They absolutely should. Because one thing the past decade has probably proved that just because you throw money at something like that and you get all these big people to work on it, don't mean it's going to be a success whatsoever. Like, not even close. How many things have we seen that come out that it's like flopped? Like you just said, Concord, Anthem, like something else I just thought of. I can't think of it right now, but it was something recent. Like, it's just, that doesn't help. This new Star Wars one that we were looking forward to, turns out garbage, supposedly. So
I mean, the thing is like but I didn't hear it was garbage. I heard the game was okay, but just okay. Like, it's cool, it's good to play, but it's not the kind of thing that I think people want to spend $70 on. Right? That it's a decent game, it's a cool shooter. How long it takes to play the game is all right, but like it isn't like it's one of those, Black Friday's in like a week.
That was another one.
You know what I mean? I think you're right, that like
everything doesn't have to be AAA. Like you said, we can do some double A's. That's perfectly fine. And you can the real triple A's you really want to do and put the money behind, you can take the time and make sure that it's right instead of putting out something half-assed.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the movie industry and the music industry have suffered those kind of losses for a long time, right? Hey, Kai. Hollywood would bet big money on a Will Smith and spend hundreds of millions of dollars, right? To shoot it, get it edited, and market it, and put it in front of people. And then it could come out and do nothing.
He does, yeah. He has enough.
He got Dudley Do-Rights, yeah. Bro. He got duds.
He got some gems.
Will Smith got duds. Like, for all of what people might say about his ability and whatever, like he got duds. Yeah. The Rock got duds. Like,
facts, yeah.
It's less. It's more common for Hollywood to put money like that behind somebody, behind a name, put marketing, into something, or come up with this idea and put it in front of people and have it do next to nothing, and they lose money on it relatively regularly. Like, for all intents and purposes, if you look at the number of duds that Hollywood puts out every year, every year, like, if you compare the number of films that get Oscar nods in any category versus the number of films that came out, like, you will see more often than not the same films get nominated in multiple categories, right? So, like, okay, but all this other stuff that maybe just doesn't do that or doesn't have. But also, there's a difference in what the expectation level is, I think, when they put something like that out, right? Like, this is how much we're spending, this is how much we need to get back, this is where we expect that to be, right? Games, I think, are just in the last like 5 or 6 years really starting to see that happen. Not that there haven't been duds, but like, not hundreds of millions of dollars spent duds.
Right.
Oof. Not like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about in the Matrix, not like this. Like, not like this.
These numbers are ridiculous.
So it's interesting that, like, again, over the last week or so, And, BioWare has been one of those companies that has kind of suffered, right? Like BioWare had that kind of can do no wrong lineage to them
Old
as they
Republic
were
days,
doing.
Jade Empire. Yeah,
Yeah.
they was on a tear. Yeah.
Jade Empire, as incredible as that game was, it didn't sell because it was stuck on the OG Xbox, right? Like we bought it and loved it, right? But like the number of units they were able to move versus what they spent or whatever, and that's kind of tied more to being stuck on one platform, which again is also another thing that like music hasn't really had to deal with, so to speak. I mean, streaming is a little bit different now, and that movies and TVs haven't had the same, like film hasn't had that same kind of thing where like you're stuck to a particular platform. So if somebody doesn't own that platform, they just don't have access to this thing you created, and therefore you can't make money in it. And that's another thing that's really changing about this industry in particular. If a movie is bad, that joint is bad everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's bad in the theater, but it's bad in all the theaters. You know what I'm saying? And there are differences,
if
right?
I go watch it, Regal would be a better experience. No, it's still gonna be a bad movie.
Well, I mean, look, but only kind of, right? Because you only go see movies at a particular kind of theater, correct?
Correct, yes.
Unless it's only showing in one thing, right? But you have a penchant for going to see specifically in Dolby.
Yes.
Right? But that doesn't mean that it's not available to see in a standard theater somewhere. As a matter of fact, in the theater that's right next to the theater you're in.
Yeah.
One is playing it through these speakers and one is playing it through these, you know what I'm saying, through regular speakers. You're going for a different experience. When it comes out for rent, for download, even if it does come out on disc these days, right? Like, if the movie is bad, it's still going to be bad on Blu-ray. It's still going to be bad. True. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be bad in 4K. It's going to be bad on your TV.
You'll be able to see better.
Regardless of what size that, you know what I'm saying? But like if a game is and obviously the same thing if it's good. But if a game is really good, right? But it's stuck in one place. Let's say a Death Stranding. Now I said really good and Death Stranding in the same sentence. I probably shouldn't have. However, right? Sold a lot of units, right? Did well for Kojima and Kojima Productions. That game is 5 years old. And all of a sudden, last Tuesday, out of the blue, it just drops on Xbox, like out of nowhere, right? It's selling well. There's an entire group of people who just didn't have access to it.
Right.
Couldn't play it. It's not available. Right. So that's also a thing that I think the industry is really beginning to learn. Is like, I don't know. We got to get better about getting things to as many people as possible and allowing access to make us money. Right. Is it more expensive to make sure that you develop for multiple consoles? Sure.
I think the payoff is worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
you're getting more eyes on the product and in people's hands.
You have more people talking about it, right? More people talking about it at the same time, which tends to that kind of water cooler talk when it's fresh and when people are first doing it and kind of figuring it all out, right? And a game like that is ostensibly a different game 5 years later than it was when it came out, because when it came out, this is a new genre of game. This is a strand game, and people are kind of playing it together, and things that you leave in the background of your game can affect other people's games and their ability to cross bridges and stuff like that.
It's crazy with saying that stuff. It's crazy that it's still so active in the game, because I just picked it back up because I want to finish it, and like my map is just people are out there. You know what I mean?
I think it's had a resurgence. Like I don't think it stayed that way. I think that, like with recent announcements, with the stuff that Kojima's been working on, with it coming to Xbox, I think that there are people who jump back in, right? Or who went back to it, or, that kind of thing. Also, a relatively recent release to PC. Again, let's go get this money, right? And I think that companies are getting, less. I think that the deals that are being offered to people to stay exclusive to one particular platform are becoming less attractive, right? You get a game like Dragon Age that just came out that, like, again, BioWare has a tough history over the last like 10 years. You mentioned Anthem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful game.
Mm-hmm. Flying mechanics were
Mechanics are clean,
mm-hmm.
but you're trying to do live service and it's just not there, right? Cuddy says, do you think game devs / publishers cared more about the dollar the past decade from simple free games making millions like Candy Crush, Fortnite, etc.? Also, the fairly recent arms war from big companies buying the smaller ones for ridiculous amounts of money. Do I think I cared more about the dollar? No. I do think that the advent of we'll call them cell phone games, right? Had an effect that should have been seen more widely than it was. And when I say that, I mean game developers needed to look at what the success of something like Candy Crush really meant and why it happened. And it's not the gotcha mechanics, it's not so much the gambling kind of mechanics, it's the everybody has access, period.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a phone. You don't know anybody who doesn't have access to Candy Crush, period.
True, yeah.
It just that's what it is, because everybody has a phone. And so staying in that mindset, that I'm going to be a little extra right now, but staying in the PlayStation 5 release mindset of saying things to consumers as if consumers are stupid, as if we believe in generations. And the things that can happen on a PlayStation 5 just aren't possible on PlayStation 4. You need to buy a new system and you need to get these games. And we don't really care about backwards compatibility, or we don't really care about your ability to play the old ones. If you want to play the old ones, keep your old system, buy a new one, right? And then 6 years in, 5 years, 4.5 years in, almost every game that has released on PlayStation 5 also runs on PlayStation 4, right? And so the reality of it being, all right, here's what's the multiplayer game that came out in February for PlayStation? It was on PC that you was trying to get me to play, and I was like, nah, they're not getting no PSN.
Oh, Helldivers 2.
Helldivers 2. So Helldivers 2 comes out, right? And for the first time, this is the very first time that Sony has ever done a day and date release to PC and to PlayStation at the same time. And the joint does crazy numbers, right? And they're making money hand over fist. It's a $40 game. People are loving it. It's it's got a built-in campaign. People are excited about it on like X, Twitter, whatever. Like, it's going crazy. And you literally have people on PC and people on PlayStation say, yo, let Xbox in.
Yes.
Don't care how you have to do it. We need their expertise because they've been playing games like this forever, right? And begging for it. What kind of money did they miss? Because they didn't, you know what I mean? Because they didn't allow it. Because the in hindsight, the reality of it is, I don't think anybody purchased a PlayStation 5 to play Helldivers 2.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? So locking something like that down to your console and then making it available on PC, but not available on Xbox or not available on Switch. Well, Switch couldn't play it, but like, doesn't really do you any good. It does give you the ability to say this is only available here. Oh, and also here. But it doesn't earn you any additional funds. And so like the competition in video games to be as well respected as movies, TV, music in terms of entertainment, you also have to learn the lessons from them in the ability to be everywhere. It did not take very long for the streaming wars, which again, we spent a lot of time talking about everybody kind of locking down their properties and grabbing their IPs and holding on to them so they could put them on their own streaming services, only for them to realize, yo, we were making way more money by having Netflix pay us for the licensing rights to be able to show our content, right? And so having your content available in more than one place, it just is more lucrative. As there's just no two ways about it. And so like we're at this turning point where people are mad about it, but you're seeing Xbox release games to PlayStation, and you're seeing Xbox release games to Nintendo, and they have purchased games that were already available in those places and not taking them away, but to have them purchase them and then release them that way feels really different. But it's much smarter ball. It's much smarter business, right? And so that's taking lessons from, why is Candy Crush making millions of dollars and it's free? Because it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere you go, because people they don't leave without their phone.
Stand in line at the grocery store, you at the DMV, it's just real quick, bop, bop, bop.
You have constant access to it all the time, right? You're sitting at the doctor's office, you're waiting for something to happen. What are you going to do?
Whip your phone
might as well play some Candy Crush, right? Like you don't have that same kind of thing if you want to play Death Stranding. You need to be at home in front of your console. You know what I mean? And like they're changing that kind of stuff, but it's not ubiquitous yet, right? Like it's not everywhere. And so
no, but we see the early stages happening.
Yeah, you're getting, companies like BioWare again that have been around for a long time, and we have a lot of respect for them, and we love a lot of the games that they've made. And like we just played Mass Effect 3. That game's like a decade old or more, right? Yeah. Had a blast playing that, 2 weekends ago for Extra Life. And we were excited about Anthem, and we played it, bro. Like we spent the money and we played it.
We bought it. We played it. We completed the game.
Yes, I think.
I know they added stuff, but we did beat the boss of the game. After that, it was like, now what to do? It was like, now what do we do? Right?
And then the last Mass Effect was like, Andromeda was like, I don't know, right? And so here they dropped Dragon Age. Dragon Age is reviewing incredibly well, right? It's different, right? It removes a lot of the RPG tropes, the very, very in-depth kind of RPG stuff, and makes it more action, which I think allows more people to get into it, right? So you're kind of widening your audience. That's a lesson learned from a company that really only does RPGs, period, right? Make decisions and right? But then they come out behind it a week later and they say, there are 0 DLC plans for this game. We're not doing anything extra. There's no additional money to be spent. We are not doing DLC.
I'm fine with that.
There are people who are upset, right? But I think it's because people are used to it, right? Like you get a big game like that, it's 70 hours. Okay, where's the DLC? Where's the, the next little 3-hour content piece I get? Whatever. And they're like, nope, we're done. Like the game is out and we've pulled those people, and those people are working on the next Mass Effect now, right? Which is probably a lot smarter, right? Than having those people working on stuff for that. If you really look at it, right? Let's say a game sells 10 million copies, just kind of making an easy number, right? So you put out a game, games does 10 million copies. The percentage of people that complete that game out of the 10 million that is sold is probably closer to like 1.5 million. Like the percentage of people that complete games, 10%, super low. Backlogs are incredible these days, right? Because there's so much to do and so much to play. So that's another thing. There's a lot of competition always. You take that, you add DLC. So if the number of people that completed a game, you sold 10 million, you had 1.5 million completed. When you spend the amount of money and resources making downloadable content for that game, and only 1 million people beat it, how many of those people do you think actually spend the money on the DLC? Like, what's your return on investment for spending the time and money creating more content for a thing that sold well, but realistically, the number of people who saw it all the way to the end, because it's 70 hours, 100 hours, whatever it is, and something else comes along before you finish that thing, right?
Happens to us all the time.
How do you then sell additional content to those people? You can't. Like the return on investment is dumb. it makes more sense if you're going to do something for it to be like in cosmetics or something like that, right? Than it does in like, oh, here's new story content. For what, man? I didn't even make it to the part where that story stuff takes place, or it takes place after the end of the game, and I didn't ever
And
make
I
it
didn't
there.
beat it.
So why would I buy that? Then you repackage it and resell it as like an ultimate edition that has all the DLC in it or whatever.
For like
and maybe
$40.
people buy it and they buy it for cheap, but they're buying it for half of what the original price was. Plus, they're getting all the content that you spent the money on, and they're still not gonna beat it. So they're still not playing through it, and they're still not beating it, right? So it from a business standpoint, this is just where we are, right? In games and in creation and whatever, right?
No, thinking about it, that's one of the reasons why I don't like to play, like with Assassin's Creed, for instance. I don't necessarily play them when they first drop. I give it a couple months because I'm the one that buys like the Ultimate Edition of it. But I know that once I beat it, if that DLC is not out yet, I'm not going back to it. I have been moved on to another game. So I purposely hold off on games with DLC like that just so when I play this, I can play through everything. Because once I've beaten the core game, if it's not there already, I'm not coming back to the game. Yeah.
Which is, again, also think about it. By the time that content then does drop, if you're waiting to buy it until then you're buying it on sale. You're not spending the money they need spent on it in order for them to make the money back that they spent making it in the first place, right? Because now you're buying it on sale or you're buying it at a reduced price because it's a year and a half later, right? Or whatever it is. And so, yes, they'll get some money from you, but it's not going to be what it would have been if you'd have bought it up front or, whatever it is. So, let's see. Cuddy says, I get surprised when I get an achievement less than 10% completed of an old game. Facts, people don't always finish games. It's very true.
I see that all the time, yeah.
The statistics are super real. Like, you can look and see that an achievement is like a diamond level achievement, meaning like
especially if it's a
less
rare
than
one.
1% of people completed it. Yeah, the rare achievements are
like, hey, you just beat the game, rare achievement goes off. Like, wasn't this popular? Nobody's beating this.
Again, that's just kind of where we are. And last week, Nintendo does this. They tweet this. This is for Rikawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be player on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date.
Okay, a lot of Nintendo Switches in that.
Feeling the need to get out in front of it.
And let people know that your stuff, you will be able to still play your stuff on the new console.
That is a thing that is specifically born out of what we're seeing right now, with people being like, you can't take away our digital content anymore. Like, you can't. You're telling us now, right? You're seeing legislation that says you can't tell people they're actually buying a game anymore because you're really only licensed. There was a lawsuit that went live today or yesterday against Ubisoft for The Crew. The Crew.
Oh, the one I actually played. Okay.
You know why? Take a guess what that lawsuit is about.
Something to do with carrying content over, something like that. Something that tied probably to The Crew 2 or something like that.
They took the servers offline.
That would have been my next choice. Now that blows. That really blows.
Because the servers are offline, right? The lawsuit contends that Ubisoft told people or falsely led people to believe that the content they were playing was on their discs. Like, there are people who have the disc, right? And now they have a coaster, right? That they should be able to put the game in and still play it, even if there's nobody there, even if there's nothing online, whatever. And it's in the early stages of what is likely to become a class action suit. And it probably only happened because it's taking place in California, and California is the first state that passed the law that said that you now can't have digital purchases that say they're an actual purchase. They have to make sure that people know when they do it that all they're doing is paying for a license that can be taken away from them, that they don't actually own the content. right? And that is a thing that was born out of what Sony did recently, where they pulled all this content that people had purchased, movies and stuff like that people had purchased on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, and all of a sudden stuff that you bought you just don't have access to anymore, right? So again, games are dealing with that, but that's a thing that's happening across all entertainment as far as like streaming and renting and that kind of thing is happening, right? So gaming is like right at the beginning of that. But the other thing about it is none of the rest of that stuff is anywhere near as expensive as games are, right? So like paying like 20 to 25 bucks for a movie versus paying 70 or 80, or in some cases an ultimate edition that's 100, 120 bucks or whatever, and you basically have a thing that just doesn't work anymore. It's like, you know, it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot to be in.
It's gonna take a few more years, but they're gonna get it right. They have no choice, really.
Yeah, well, some of it's gonna get forced in legislation, right? Nintendo has, in relatively recent years, I would say since the Wii, Nintendo has been pretty good about backwards compatibility. What they haven't been good about is the online stuff. Right? Like the stuff that you bought in the Wii store didn't work going further. Like people are ended up rebuying stuff that they already bought on their old console because even though you have an online account, like it doesn't carry over. And really, Nintendo Switch Online is the first time that they've kind of really let you carry that kind of stuff over. Right. So I think it was important for them to say it, that like they are some version of current going into what the next one is. But that also tells me the fact that they made that statement last week and that they had to say it in like their corporate meeting, like their earnings call, is like, we're getting ready to get an announcement.
Oh yeah.
That announcement is coming in the next like 4 months.
Yeah. It's to get out of it. 100%.
Yeah. They said it because they know. They also said that they are not expecting to sell as many Switches as they thought they were going to going into the holiday, right? Like they lowered their expectation for how many Switches they would sell.
Okay.
But it also means that it's important for you to make the statement now before the holiday. Like we're 2 weeks out from Black Friday. There are people who are planning to buy Nintendo Switches. You need to know right now that we're going to make an announcement about Nintendo Switch 2 or the successor to the Switch in like February.
Yeah.
And
you're good.
You don't want
still will be able to play your stuff. Yeah. So no need to worry about
whatever games you buy, whatever you get online, whatever, right? Because they're hurting their own pockets, right? By doing what the traditional thing has been, which is like, act like none of this stuff can work on the new version. Now we need to make it known. Go ahead and buy your Switch this holiday. Don't worry about buying new games and stuff like that for the Switch because they're going to work. Now, it doesn't say cartridges.
No, this is going to work. Is it?
I mean, listen. Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch.
So maybe it has a cartridge port on it somewhere.
Maybe. Or maybe only the stuff in your digital library is going to cross over. And it could be that your cartridges are, in fact, trash now. Unless you keep that.
Unless you still play on your Switch, yeah.
And I'm willing to wager there's going to be something along those lines. That's what I think.
I'm glad there's certain things I have in my digital library. Then don't have everything, but I think most of my stuff.
You have physical Switch games?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I have maybe 7 physical ones.
Do you?
Yeah, maybe 7. Everything else is digital. But like Zelda, that's a cartridge. Mario Kart, that's a cartridge. Odyssey is a cartridge.
Zelda. Oh, you mean
the first one?
Breath of the Wild.
Yes, yeah, Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, because you got it with it came out the same day. Like
yeah. Yeah, my Smash Brothers is definitely digital. My Fire Emblem is definitely digital. Like,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Again, you want to know when the successor comes out that you're still going to be able to play those games, right? That's
absolutely, yeah.
necessary for you to, you know. Rich says, "What effect do you think impending tariffs may have on the video game industry? Everything's going to get more expensive. It's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Look, truthfully, it's hard to say how it's going to affect games themselves because so much is digital, right? And so because it's a digital purchase, you may not see a change in what that pricing looks like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It it could be that you see a jump in price just to offset the tariffs as they apply to the hardware. Hardware is definitely going to take a hit because of it. However, it also depends on where they decide to manufacture, and that's really what that comes down to. So, stuff like that, the impending tariffs and so forth. Look, what a lot of people don't understand about tariffs is that they can be good and or bad, but the consumer pays for it in the end, no matter how you slice it. So the purpose really behind tariffs is if you are a company that say is based here in the US and you have product that is made or you import product from outside of the US, be that China, Japan, wherever, there's an additional tax, a tariff that is placed on that product, right? To bring that product into the US. So that is a tax because that tax exists, and it sounds like the tax is put on the country that the goods are being imported from, but realistically, it just means that the country is going to make the prices higher on that for you to import it, right? So it'll have an effect on import. And then you as a consumer will eat that cost because that cost will be passed on to you by the company that imports it in the first place. So from a hardware standpoint, controllers, consoles, cameras, all of that kind of stuff, you're going to see the prices go up because they're going to pass that on to you or / until they decide to manufacture within the US. But even then, right, you're still going to see that passed on to you because so many of the pieces and parts they need to manufacture are still coming from overseas.
True.
The chips, the chipsets, the parts, the metal, like so much of it is coming from overseas that like even if you're building here, for a long time a lot of consoles were built in like Brazil, places like that. Um if you tax that, the company eats that tax and they take that tax and they pass it on to you as a consumer. How will it affect games specifically? With so much of that stuff being digital now, it's hard to say. Could there be some sort of a tax that comes down the line that has to do with where your servers are housed? Absolutely.
Yeah, good.
Absolutely. But it doesn't exist in legislation now. But it's gonna come. if it's gonna come because there's so much money that's made in the industry in entertainment that they'll figure that out sooner than later. Right. And if you figure most of the server farms are owned by Alphabet and Amazon, regardless of where they are, that's who owns them. Those companies are most definitely going to pass that cost on to you.
For sure.
So you'll see, like you're already seeing the cost of streaming go up. Like the cost of streaming will have to go up because the content that you're streaming is being streamed from server farms that are outside of the US. It's just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it'll definitely have an effect. But it'll take a while, I think, before we see that. And look, if PlayStation 5 Pro is already $700, PlayStation 6 probably isn't coming until 2028. So what the state of things is going to be like at that point is going to be hard to say anyway, but it certainly, sounds to me like PlayStation 6 is going to be at least 700. I would imagine.
Possibly, yeah.
And the trick between now and then will be, what will hard drives cost? What will the speed of hard drives be, and what size will those hard drives be, right? And what's going to happen in terms of changes to the cloud and gaming and streaming games directly out of the cloud, as opposed to needing that additional hard drive space, and what that's going to cost. But it'll have an effect on everything. I don't know if you saw, like, Panasonic TVs are back in the US now, and they haven't been in the US for almost 10 years.
Interesting.
And they have like the best TVs, and did for like a long time. And we'll see what that means. Part of the more than likely the reason why that happened is because Panasonic now has a deal with Amazon.
Okay.
And so Panasonic TVs have Fire TV built into them.
Right.
And are almost exclusively sold on Amazon's website.
Huh.
Almost exclusively sold there. So again, those kinds of things, again, that affect us from a pop culture standpoint, and how you get your content and content delivery and having your information. I'm gonna ask you a question, Sin.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard about how people think like Disney is one of the most nefarious companies on the planet?
Yes.
Do you think people think that way about Nintendo?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Because I do.
Yes.
Bro, listen, I think Nintendo is just now really getting hip to how much control they have and how early it starts. And I think they're learning it from companies like Disney. I think it's coming out of the fact that, like, they did an entire Nintendo Direct because they're doing like Donkey Kong Country or whatever at Universal Studios, which is like, why are you showing us this? Like, just open the joint, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But we didn't really talk about this, but like, Nintendo put out an alarm clock. You didn't see Alarmo?
Like just in a no. Alarmo?
Look it up. Look it up right now. Yeah, like a month ago, Nintendo announced a new alarm clock called Alarmo. Right? And it's how did you miss this?
Because I wasn't paying attention.
Just say it, because we didn't talk about it on Weekly. Like so
$99.99.
$100. Right?
Okay.
$100.
I mean, if you're a Nintendo fan, I'm not mad at it.
That's cool. Read it. Read about it. What's it say? Where are you looking at it at?
On Nintendo's website.
Okay, so read about it. I want you to just read to me. Or you know what? Share it on your screen real quick. Because this is gonna get real interesting. We're going off the rails now. Like, this is off the rails. But so Alarmo was like this really weird, like, why are they doing this? Like, why? What would be the entire purpose of Nintendo? So this is what happened. There was a leak that Nintendo was doing a hardware announcement.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, oh snap, Switch 2, they about to do the thing. And then people woke up in the morning and it was this. Well, people were hot.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? So read that. What's it say? How does it work?
Yeah. All right. Introduce a little play to your wake up routine with Alarmo, the interactive alarm clock from Nintendo's. Start the day off right with fun animations, sounds, and characters from some of your favorite games. You can even snooze the alarm with gestures and end it by getting out of bed, thanks to device motion sensor. Okay. I guess it's showing you how it works. Pick a scene. So you pick a title, pick a scene, set the time, let Alarmo handle the rest. In the morning, you'll experience immersive sounds and music from the scene you picked, followed by a game element arriving to help you wake up. I guess that's what it looks like before the alarm. And then alarm begins. Mario's awake now. He was asleep up there. Visitors arrive. Okay. After a few seconds, someone or something from the scene you pick will appear. Wave your hand to move the body and make the clock quieter. Depending on the title you chose, you might also hear coins or other familiar game sounds when you interact with Alarmo. A brief snooze.
Yeah, it has like the Zelda opening the chest kind of sound, and
okay. Eventually, your visible end and a gentle sound will play again until your visitor returns. This will repeat a number of times if you stay in bed. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Looks like Bowser yells at you if you don't get up. All right, if you stay in bed too long, your alarm will get more intense. You'll get it from someone who's more persuasive. Okay. And finally, you did it. When you get all the way out of bed, the alarm will stop and you'll be treated to a brief victory fanfare. Hoorah. Okay.
It's cute, right?
Yeah, like it looks cool. Like
More than just a clock, right?
mm-hmm.
All day experience, wake your way. Keep scrolling. Hands free, track your sleep patterns, right?
Interesting.
There's a good look at it,
Mm-hmm.
front, back, how it works. It's a stupid looking clock, but it's cool.
Okay. What's in the box?
Yeah.
Manual,
So
USB cable, and the clock.
can Alarmo be used if you have multiple sleepers, if you have pets? Like that was a big thing for people. What sizes are compatible? What bed sizes are compatible? Your bed size, right? Because like it's looking at if you wake up, it's looking at sleep patterns, stuff like
Like
that.
right here, yeah. I was showing how far I can see out and everything.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing, right? Where the best places to put it, blah, blah, blah. It's oddly enough got in the SRB rating. Scroll back now. What's the can you like control plus and zoom in a little bit on the so you can see a little bit better. Scroll, nope, the other way. Yeah, right there. So read that.
Let's see. Early access limited to US and Canada. Nintendo account and paid Nintendo Switch Online membership sold separately. Required for purchase. Membership auto renews after the initial term, and then the current price unless canceled. Not available in all countries. Terms apply.
Here's the thing. You can stop right there. I want to go back to that first sentence. Early access limited to US and Canada.
Right.
Nintendo account and paid Nintendo Switch Online membership sold separately, required for purchase. If you buy this alarm clock, you also have to buy Nintendo Switch Online. You must have Nintendo Switch Online in order to own this and use it. What kind of information does Nintendo get to have about you, your sleeping patterns, when you're awake, when you're not, your account where you play games, what time you're playing games, what games you're playing, what you buy, and how that coordinates to when you're asleep versus when you're awake? What kind of information are they getting about you? Why would you need to have a Nintendo Switch Online account in order to use an alarm clock? Because they want your information.
The info, yeah.
And that information is information they're able to use to sell to you, to sell to other people. There's so much more going on with something like this that seems so innocent and seems so simple. Oh, that's cute. It's a Nintendo alarm clock. There are parents who are going to go out and be like, oh, that's cute. My kid loves whatever. They're going to buy this for them. Maybe this will help them get up in the morning, blah, 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 whatever. Realizing, oh, I need to connect their Switch account to this in order for this to work. It says, no, ma'am. You don't know, bro. It's all the way at the bottom in the fine print, right? Yep. They got you. Right? That's where we are. You understand what I'm saying? Diabolical. That's where we are. I made you go through all of that
to get to that part.
So we could get right here. There's a thing, bro, that's happening in terms of like where games are, and what these companies are, and like Nintendo is the thing for kids and blah blah blah. This is the thing you're gonna put in your kid's bedroom.
Yep.
Right?
Get the
That's
sleep
gonna be attached
patterns.
to their Nintendo Online account. That's gonna know what time bedtime is. Like they'll be able to look at and have an average. Average kid in America goes to bed at this time in this area, gets up this early to go to school, starts playing Switch at this time. School must be out. Blah blah blah. Like the kind of information that they have about you, right? Because of something like this, literally watching you while you sleep. It doesn't say, oh, as a company that does this, like here's the parental controls, and this we'll know if your kid is getting up in the middle of the night and playing Switch, we're gonna notify you. Like that's not even like this. That's not what this is. You understand what I'm saying?
This is a data collection.
It's data collection, bro.
Yeah,
it is data collection hidden in something that just seems so innocent and fun. Like, yep, you can pick a Mario or a Zelda or whatever, come to Nintendo Land at Universal Studios, go watch the Nintendo movies and blah, blah, blah. But there's always more. There's always more. And I've been telling y'all for years that like information is the new oil. It's the thing that data is the thing that matters the most. So at the end of the day, this is where it is. It's harmless on the surface. Right, Sin?
Yep.
On the surface, right? It's harmless.
Nice I think package.
Like there's no part of me that that's just who I am. There's no part of me that sees something like this and goes, Nintendo, why in the world would you do this? But it's not like Nintendo doesn't like, it's not like Pokemon Sleep isn't already a thing.
Right.
It's already a thing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
They've been in there, right? They have captured certain information about you for a long time.
Just capturing that information, not doing it through Pokemon.
Well, think about it, right? When the Wii Fit board comes out, the balance board hits, all that kind of stuff. They do Ring Fit Adventure or whatever. You play a game like that, they are capturing information. You have an account with them that already tells them what your name is, who you are. They know where you are. You're playing online, so they have a location for you, right? Like they know where you are. You're the one who's putting information about how tall you are, how much you weigh.
You're just giving it to them.
Yeah. Like you're giving it to them, right? And then they can see when you're online and when you're not. So clearly you're not at work right now because you're at home and you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like there's information they have that they gather that again, it seems harmless, but it's so easy to decide or to help other people figure out, oh, well, when's the best time to market to this person? Right? This is a person who weighs this much, is this tight, is this tall, is this skin color, right? Lives in this area. These are the kinds of things that we should market to this person. Right? And you're like, how'd they get my phone number? How's my information getting out there? You gave it to them.
Yep.
You gave it to them, right?
And so over again.
Look, the reality of it is they always sneak your medicine into your favorite food. Like that's how, you know what I mean? So like we love pop culture, right? Like we love video games, we love movies and TVs or whatever, and movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And so there's always going to be something that they can garner from that kind of thing. So like Movie Pass is back. How can Movie Pass possibly make money?
Oh, I have no clue.
They sell your information.
Oh, well.
Right? You give them your information. You pay them a monthly fee, and they don't just know what movies you go see, what you like, right? And can figure out what and how to advertise to you based on it. They know where you go to the movies. They know what time you go to the movies. They know what day you go, and people are creatures of habit, right? So like, it's not likely to be super random. You know what I'm saying? They have that information. So yeah, there's on the surface, what always is like, this is a great thing for consumers because movies are so expensive. So if you could spend only $10 a month and go see this many movies, you're saving this amount of money, which is 1000% true. How in the world is it possible that they can make good money on that though? Like what's the return on investment? The return on investment is the information they've gathered.
Yep. Sell it right back to, AMC, Regal, Amazon, Netflix. Yeah.
To whoever. right? To anybody, because it's not just that. It's like, what kind of snacks do you buy, right? What kind of like, oh, you got this dude. Oh, there's information that crosses over here. This same person has a Nintendo Online account, played Ring Fit Adventure 2 times. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Really wants to lose this weight, goes to the movies, you know what I'm saying, 3 times a week. Eats a whole bucket of buys a large popcorn. You know what I'm saying, with extra butter. Like, we know what's going on. And like, you really would be surprised the kind of information that you can get from that kind of stuff. This is a very interesting thing. To say all that, right? The state of gaming is in the strangest place. Because we're going to keep doing it. Like, we're going to keep playing. We're going to keep enjoying it. They're going to have your information. You know, we're going to get out there and it's going to cost us, right? But they're going to have to give us something back now in order to keep us where they have us. So Nintendo has to say, yep, all of your stuff is going to cross over. You know why? Because we are literally just put out this alarm clock where we're collecting this information from you. So absolutely, we want to keep that thing. We want you to keep that account, because we need to continue to see what you're doing with that account. So yes, all your stuff is going to cross over to the next one, and it will absolutely cross over to the next one, right? Because we need, you know, like, that's where we are. Somebody's going, oh yeah, Microsoft been doing that forever.
Yeah, companies have been.
It's just,
you know what you're doing now.
Yeah. Listen, you are. Well, I don't know if are you a fan of Topgolf?
I like Topgolf. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. You like, we've been together once.
Mm-hmm. I've been a few times.
We have been together once.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a couple times. It's not my favorite. Like, I think I'd rather do putt-putt than do Topgolf, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all right. Do you feel like Topgolf is too expensive?
Yes.
Okay. But it keeps working, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me show you something.
Okay. Topgolf?
Yep.
Like, while you're there?
Yes.
When are we going?
You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. I would like to experience that.
Hey, listen, bro. Hey, you know, pop culture, bro.
Right.
We in everything. We in everything,
cool.
Right? So I want to read the press release.
Okay.
Topgolf and Sega of America partner to launch exclusive new Sonic the Hedgehog game at Topgolf. So today, modern golf entertainment leader Topgolf and Sega of America announced a multi-year partnership that will bring Sonic the Hedgehog to life in Topgolf owned and operated venues this November. It's live now, and Top Tracer enabled franchise venues around the globe by Q1 2025. The all-new game is an ultimate Sonic experience filled with classic characters and challenges, sure to power up new and nostalgic fans alike. This is the first venture into the golf entertainment space for Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and is the first Topgolf game developed with an external IP since Angry Birds at Topgolf was released in 2020. It says, we are beyond excited to announce our partnership with Sega, said Jeff Cottrell, Topgolf's chief brand officer. The ingenious development of this game is a testament to the collaborative creativity between our teams that will bring Sonic action and golf to life in a super exciting way. We can't wait for players to witness the Sonic experience coming to Top Golf this fall. Now,
are there any plans for DLC?
I'm sure because there's they have a new putter, a new putter for people who are new. Give me a second. Let me find. All right, so hold on. So game details. So Top Golf meets the fast-paced action of Sonic in the all-new in-venue game. As super fans of all skill levels go head-to-head in iconic virtual Sonic environments, Green Hill Zone and Sky Sanctuary. To hit springs, collect rings, and destroy badniks. The experience will utilize Top Golf's ball tracing technology to blend the physical act of hitting a golf ball with digitally watching popular Sonic characters Tails, Knuckles, and Amy track shots and collect rings as players climb to the top of the leaderboard. Created with players of all levels in mind, the entire outfield is scoreable, allowing players to aim freely and rack up points. For those making the transition from a joystick to a club for the first time, Top Golf has your back with its new club, The Sure Thing, designed to make golf less hard for novice players.
Okay.
I don't know what The Sure Thing is. I decided I needed to find out. So, The Sure Thing, exclusively at Top Golf. We told some smart people to forget all the rules and build a golf club meant for having a good time. They packed The Sure Thing full of nerdy golf stuff, which helps you get the ball in the air and makes golf a little less hard. You can't buy it, but you can try it now at every bay in Top Golf. So they have a new joint that has a different face on it. It's supposed to give you a lot of control and make it much easier for you to hit, play, and such. Yep.
I like that.
It's an interesting place we are in.
That's kind of cool.
I mean, look, I agree.
Cool. Yeah,
I agree.
I'm straight up. Like, I do want to go and try it out. Like,
I know you do.
Yeah,
I knew you would.
Kind of fun.
I say we plan an outing. I say we do a loading snacks outing and just have some people meet. And we just do a meet and greet
and do some Top Golf with Sonic. Yeah,
I'm down.
Don't get your little footage of it.
100%.
Right.
Then we can write it off. So I'm just saying.
So they said they're trying to keep you at Top Golf for hours.
They are, but they want to keep you there anyway.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like that's
they got solid food too. So
they do actually have pretty solid food. All right, look, I can't hold out any longer. There's 3 things I have to show you.
Yeah, somebody put something in the chat. I said we're not there yet. I can't put it on screen yet.
We won't know. Before we go there, I need you to see this.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
Listen.
Is it Rumble in the Bronx?
Bro, listen. It look like Rumble in the Bronx, don't it?
It look like Rumble in the Bronx. Let's go with the hands. Wait. This dude's everywhere. This is like Vampire Survivor the Rumble in the Bronx.
Bro, that's exactly what this is. It's called Karate Survivor. Do I own this? Absolutely.
You got to do with this one, bro.
I had to. All the different abilities you get. From this body.
Cover art. I love it.
Bro.
Out now on Steam. I'm about to go to Steam.
Hey, bro, listen. I spent that $5 so quick, dog. I spent that $5 so quick. You know how I feel about Vampire Survivors. I said, hold on. You gonna give me the Jackie Chan?
The Karate Survivor? Yep.
I'm in it all day. All right. now for what they've been waiting for while you make that purchase. Let's go.
You asked for me. Here I am.
You want to help me?
Is there anything you remember?
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful.
What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
Oh, I love that. Manchurian
I was a
Candidate.
wartime general. Now I'm a wartime president.
Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
White.
Right. I'm not. Wait for it. We're on the brink of war. I can't trust anyone. Nothing about this feels right.
Captain America. You ever ask yourself, who's playing who?
Someone's been pulling the strings on everything.
You're under arrest? I don't want a variable out there that I can't control.
Stop!
Captain America, caught without his wings.
You like to play dress up and blindly execute the state's orders.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
What if this is a trap?
You don't even know what this is.
Since when were they red?
You want me? Come and get me!
That is how you Valentine's Day. You hear me?
Facts.
You know what you getting red for Valentine's Day? Hulk. Red Hulk for Valentine's Day.
Opening weekend in the building.
Let me tell you something.
For sure.
So here's the thing. That's the first time we really had to look at Sabra. I don't know if you saw like the young lady who was talking to the president.
Mm-hmm.
In there in the hallway. So she's playing Sabra. It's gonna be interesting to me to see what they do with her because
Don't know who that
Sabra is basically the Israeli version of Captain America. Like she's the first Israeli superhero.
Okay.
He got wings, flies, all of that. But clearly they, with all of what's going on in the world right now, I think. So I know that they've talked about a lot of reshoots and changed some things, and I'm sure that a lot of that has to do with just where we are with Palestine and Israel and all of that kind of stuff. So they're definitely gonna have to. We'll see what kind of controversy that stirs up. There will definitely be some, but I'm gonna tell you what. The first teaser trailer had me, but this trailer sold me. I'm in.
I'm here. I'm ready.
I'm in.
I
need. This is what I need. This is what I expect from my Captain America movies. I expect them to go Manchurian Candidate. I expect them
political thriller.
Yeah, I expect Hunt for Red October. I expect this is what I expect. This is what a Harrison Ford is supposed to bring to the MCU.
Air Force One. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is I'm looking for Tom Clancy levels of movies here.
What's the one
with superheroes in it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This feels like just the way they kind of stripped the colors away. You just get like the black and white lettering. Yeah, this is more along the lines of like what I'm looking for. If you say, all right, we're gonna do another Captain America, those films, I think that the Captain America films, those 3 films are the best MCU movies.
Agreed. As a total package.
Yeah, like trilogy wise.
Yeah. He has the strongest.
Look, a lot of that has to do with the Russos. Being the Russos,
Matter of fact.
but like, it's hard to take. Man, seeing the latest Captain America trailer looks like it has Russo vibe. Again, it's not them, which is cool though, but I like that. And the Red Hole looks dope AF. Thunderbolts looks even better. Hopefully, RH makes the team later on. We're gonna find out. As a matter of fact, let's jump in.
Oh, America's so big. You ever drive through Oklahoma? It's so flat.
You got a convoy approaching fast. Step on it.
Come on, baby.
Okay, a bit faster, please.
Lexi!
Okay, don't worry. Engaging defensive measures.
Let's go, bro.
Oh my god. Pull the shield!
Is that Bucky?
I was gonna say, how did you do that with a gun?
It's a Winter Soldier.
Yeah, right.
That guy is so cool. That's what I talk about!
That's not good.
How crazy is it to think of all the monumental fights that happened exactly here where you're standing? I mean, the place wasn't cheap, but it's got good optics. Look at you. You are all so adorable.
Eat shit, Valentina.
Make up your mind.
The assignment is... Oh, wait, hang on. Assignment is complete.
What kind of super serum did you get?
I don't know, regular. Hydra.
Hydra. Oh, fancy.
Who is this old Santa?
The Red Guardian.
What?
Everyone here has done bad things. Shadow ops. Contract kills.
And you, former Red Room assassin. God only knows the blood on your hands.
Pretty ludicrous coming from the dime store Captain America.
I'll have you know I was actually the official Captain America, so.
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
It's getting so tense in here.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
We're just drifting. And we don't have purpose. You can't escape the past.
So you can either do something about it now, or live with it forever.
So what, we all just punch and shoot?
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
Thank God.
The Thunderbolts. It's a cool name.
I know I'm at in May. I need
Hey,
that.
bro. February and May, bro.
I need that.
February and May. Hey, is the MCU back?
Oh, it feels like that off those 2 trailers alone. Oh, it feels like it. I think these. Well, y'all just said that Agatha turned out to be pretty good, like important to what's going on and all that kind of stuff. Kind of followed up with Captain America, and we got Daredevil coming and Thunderbolts. Like,
all right. So listen,
we have the potential to be on a run.
Here's my question: is Cap gonna form? Oh my God, you right, Candace. The new What If joint. Here's the thing. What If might be the most important joint they do.
Final season.
That joint. Did you watch the trailer, sir?
No, I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't watch the trailer for anything. I know what we were watching today.
All right. I wasn't gonna. I figured you might have. We'll watch that. While I'm getting that squared away, though, this is what I need to know, Sam. Is Cap gonna have to form a new Avengers at the end of this movie? At the end of his movie, give me the rundown.
At the end of the movie?
Yeah, like by the end of his movie, is he gonna be in that space where it's like, oh,
2025? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then,
I think the seeds are will start to be planted. That like we need to bring the Avengers back, but a lot of people are gone, so we got to figure it out now.
Who are the Avengers?
Well, Sam, Yelena.
Okay, so is a Thunderbolts a one and done?
I don't think so.
You think there's going to be a second Thunderbolt?
I think depending on how, I think it'll be open enough to where they can, or they can just trickle people in as far as like Avengers movies and stuff like that. I think if it does the numbers they're looking for, we'll definitely have a sequel to it.
All right. So who makes the Avengers?
Well,
Cap.
Cap, right? Like I said, Yelena.
Shang-Chi?
Yes, definitely. Shang-Chi is definitely on it.
Hulk?
No.
She-Hulk?
Yes, possibly. Okay. I'm going more with the She-Hulk than regular Hulk.
White Vision?
At some point, yeah, but we haven't seen her forever. But yes, at some point, White Vision will join up.
Yeah, but Vision Quest will drop.
Yeah,
like it's coming.
Bucky,
Ironheart, or is she Young Avengers?
I'm thinking she's Young Avengers.
No Iron Lad.
No, Ironheart, Young Avengers.
Okay, you think Bucky comes back?
Yes.
You think they got that little friendship? They had a show together.
Yeah.
Cap and Bucky gotta. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's left?
I'm trying to think of. What happened with the Ant family at the end? But it doesn't matter. She's gonna be Young Avengers anyway.
Right.
His daughter, she's Young Avengers.
Right.
Same with Hawkeye 2.0. She's
right.
Young Avengers.
Right.
Peter Quill. Possibly. Because he's still on Earth. Remember they left him back on Earth, if I remember correctly, the way that all ended. They went on without him.
What can he do? I guess, but I hate that as an idea. Like, I hate the thought of that. Interesting. You think that he ends up on regular Avengers as opposed to Young Avengers? Nobody knows him. So Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he's an Avenger. He's an Avenger for sure.
So he's one of the Avengers.
He's an Avenger for sure. Yeah.
He's their Tony Stark because they don't have.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of fill in that kind of. I can do a bunch of cool magic stuff instead of it being science. So you don't have anybody like that anymore. Outside of Ironheart, but where I said that's Young Avengers.
Okay. Let's do this.
Let's begin. Up for an adventure?
Always.
To understand, you must learn to see.
What exactly are you proposing?
It's showtime.
Here we go!
Howard, are you sure you can fly this?
Are you kidding? I'm a duck. I was born to fly. Strap in.
Oh, move over.
If we all go down, the world will be left defenseless. This is the shot we have. We may not get another one. Let's finish it.
Oh, we're good to go.
Avenger, assemble.
Oh, good, bro.
Light 'em up now.
This is where your story ends.
Sandals?
With some mysteries, the only answer is what if?
Maybe it's time that we called in some help.
I am Storm, goddess of thunder.
Bruh.
Yeah, y'all said game over. Hold my beer. Yeah.
Bruh.
This looks like more so. Like I said, this is the final season. Kind of everything has come together for the first two seasons. Instead of it being like one-offs each episode, it feels like these 8 episodes are going to be like one collective story of everybody coming together to form a new Avengers to defeat whoever the bad guys are this time around.
I mean, I think. Look, you're introducing Storm, like straight up to the MCU, as the God of Thunder, holding Mjolnir. Mutants, like it, you know what I mean? Like it's all right. Here we, you know what I mean? Here we go. There's a lot to unpack in the last. Yeah, there it is. We have mutants. Like there's a lot to unpack, right? Just in the last. Those 3 trailers right there, like this D23 in Brazil was kind of crazy, right? And having them, one, the Eternals are all in What If, which is like, okay, we haven't talked about or thought about them in a long time.
Smart move.
Could one of them potentially be one of those Avengers?
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right.
Because they're like finally going to address the fact that there is a giant
celestial being
in the water in Captain. Like you see them fighting over the ocean, and I think that this World War III kind of thing that's happening, this change is going to be about this giant creature that is supposedly in the MCU. This giant creature that's in the ocean now that came from Eternals is where adamantium comes from in the MCU. And it is going to be that they are fighting over that. So it was that fight for vibranium over Wakanda, but now this is supposedly going to be where adamantium comes from. And that will change everything, and it can't last but so long, right? We got to get the Battle World.
Yeah.
We got to get the Doom. There's so much happening and so much at stake, and there's so many things that harken back to things that weren't even necessarily that great. Like if you didn't watch all of the Marvel TV shows, if you're not caught up, it's probably a really good time to start getting caught up.
Yeah.
Right before this really kicks in. I think
February.
doing What If
December.
Yeah, doing What If in December, 2 months later you're in Captain America, and then like 3 months later you're in Thunderbolts. Like it's getting ready to be a problem. Cuddy says What If is great, that it was always a twist on stories. I think it's a mistake to end. Endless possibilities can go on indefinitely. Nah, I mean, I don't know if I would agree that it's a mistake to end it. I mean, there are obviously definite possible, like they could continue doing them, but I think that it's ending because they are using it.
Yeah.
I think that there's a purpose for What If, and that What If is a catalyst for finally bringing, like it's the thing about What If is that it's so tied into the multiverse and the multiverse saga. And the idea of wanting to get out of the multiverse saga and kind of unify everything at the end, I think is what the purpose of where we're going in terms of getting to Doomsday, Battle World. And like, you know, from a comic standpoint, that's part of what the problem was. There were all these other universes and all these other versions of characters that existed, and what's canon and what's not canon, and what counts and what doesn't count, or whatever. And like, eventually there comes a time when you need to kind of clean that up and simplify it and make it easy again for people to jump back in. And so over the next like 4 or 5 years, we're getting there again, right? Because there is a certain level of burnout, and that happens normally with comics, right? There's so much going on and so many new characters and so many new books, and to kind of keep up with everything, you need to be in everything. And your ability to kind of keep up as a consumer of this product is like, well, yeah, there's several movies, but then there's the stuff on Disney Plus, and you know, there's this show that, you know, yeah, you could watch it, but it felt like it was more for kids, in like you know, with Kamala Khan and her story, or you know, She-Hulk and kind of some of the silliness that was there, and the fourth wall breaking stuff. And when you have the kind of success you have with Deadpool, and you know, like they've made the decision, the Fox universe will exist, but at some point we're going to bring all of that together and kind of mash it into one thing. And you kind of need the ability to reboot, because even if you, especially if you want to be able to keep some of these characters that you've introduced, they need a refresh. You need to be able to change actors, because people get old and comic book characters don't. So like,
this is that time period where you do all that stuff.
Yeah, you kind of need to be able to do that. And like, What If is, I think, kind of a good way to take that idea of the multiverse and things happening in a different way, but use that to actually tell a canonized story that eventually is going to deliver us into where we are in the live action, right? And so
I agree. I see where Cody's coming from. Like, yeah, with What If, you could run that on forever, but how they're approaching it to tie it into the MCU and everything, I think this is a solid like cap off for it for now.
Yeah, what I think is that there's a potential for spinoffs.
Yes.
To exist in the What If universe that just continue the stories of some of those characters, or one of those characters, or something along those lines. There is a part of me that really does want to see Captain Carter get pulled into live action and actually make it into an MCU film.
Yes.
And I feel like we're gonna get it. You know what I mean? Something better than what we got at Doctor
go
Strange.
off. Oh, if like there's a Avengers movie and they're putting them together and she shows up.
Well, I mean, again, it would be like the Avengers finally assembling in, you know, the end in Endgame. You know, you get to that end and it's Battle World, and you have all these different characters from all these different versions of the universe, these multiverse, and they're showing up, and even multiple versions of her. You know, again, it could be really good and a really big deal, but at some point, like, you kind of have to cut it off. And again, if you're talking 5, 6, 7 years down the road, like, how old are these actors going to be? And like, you're talking about doing Young Avengers, and these Young Avengers are going to be the same age as the old Avengers were by the time you get there. Like, it's just kind of like, you know, what do? I do want to ask you this: with Captain America, do we see Isaiah Bradley's grandson, do we see him in this movie?
Yeah.
We see him in this movie.
Yeah.
He shows up. I think that will be his proper introduction into like.
Yep.
We got to move him into the Young Avengers. We need to. There's a part of me that feels like he's gonna need to like do the Avengers and kind of reform that team, but also that he's gonna see a need for there to be a Young Avengers and kind of jump in on what that initiative is with Kamala going around and kind of recruiting people, and that's a Nick Fury thing technically.
True.
Right. And so where is he in all of this?
Maybe we find out in the movie. It's right up his level, espionage, all that kind of stuff. Maybe he makes a cameo or something. I wouldn't be mad at that. Like I said, it's right up his world, but who knows?
Introducing Sentry in Thunderbolts is a whole other can of worms. But again, it feels like the thing that leads to them really leaning into mutants.
Was that Bob?
The MCU, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, it's not really a thing I want. I'm not a big fan of it, but like it makes sense for what they're doing. So like whatever. All right, we're running super long. Let's shut it down, Sin. This weekend, we will be at Nerpocalypse.
Facts.
Here's what the schedule looks like. Starts at 3. Beetlejuice trivia at 4:15. Mario Kart battles starts at 4:30. Epic karaoke is a couple of times in there. But karaoke at Lucky's. The Zelda rave and the arcade is going to be in Mosaic, which is the club that's like if you're facing the main stage off to the left-hand side. That starts at 6. The Beer Olympics, chances are I'm hosting that one. But we'll see. I'll be in there somewhere, mixed in it. Mario Kart battles, we're definitely in there. Angelo's doing that. And sending jokes with that last go round.
Yep.
Cosplay contest. And the group photo, we'll be heading that up, making sure that goes down. And then more karaoke at the end at Lucky's. So it's gonna be a good time. It always is. We've never had a fall Nerpocalypse. But I think getting to a place where we can do 2 of those a year is gonna be really good. So now kind of having the ability to do like a summer/spring one and a fall one is gonna be pretty cool. Weather looks like it's gonna be dope.
True.
I said Nick's the one whose age doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, and for all we know, we've been dealing with a life model decoy,
something like that. Yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah.
Saying when's the next time? When's the next time we see a scroll?
I want to say Captain America.
Where's the power broker? Agent 13 in Captain America?
That's going back to Witness Protection all over again. We're starting down that rabbit hole.
Does she show up in Thunderbolts?
Yes, between these next 2 movies, she shows up. Either Captain America or Thunderbolts. Her ties are to them. So this, if you don't show up, I have questions. What the hell is happening? She does not show up.
So pick one. Pick one. Which one does she show up in?
Thinking about the trailers.
Why you look like you doing magic? Like I don't.
All right, Captain America. All
right.
Captain America.
Y'all remember that?
Okay.
So yeah,
Steve. She got tired of Steve. So there's. I'm just trying to figure out. It's close either way. It's close, but okay.
Could she be in What If?
She could be. I don't see it, but she could be. It's just What If. So that means anything is literally possible. We just seen Storm with me on air. Like anything can happen.
Very true. Okay. Yeah. So Nerpocalypse this weekend in Baltimore, Power Plant Live. Same what's going on Thriller Park and Anime Chat podcast.
Thriller Park, we're watching the next episodes of Rainbow this week. I know we ended up watching 4 last week because the first one was a recap. So we're like, we all say just watch this. So we just skipped it, kept going.
Okay.
With this show, it started off good. It is no longer that anymore. And it's to the point where we
might be time to bow out, huh?
Look, if we weren't doing it for Thriller Park, we all agree we would have bowed out because after the first 10 episodes, what they're doing with the story just has us kind of at a loss. Yes, we're entertained and doing our jokes and stuff like that, but like it's what they're doing with the story is not making any sense.
How much is left?
We are, let's see, we did 13, 14. It's like 24 episodes. We're like 17. So depending on how the views go, like we
I don't know, dog. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'd bow out. I know you're like more than halfway through.
Yeah,
it's almost like you might as well, but nope. No, because you can do again. This is where I'm at. Pop culture. There's so much more we could do with our time. Yeah. So, like, if you don't, when it's time to go, listen. You could be watching Penguin.
True. True. And look, we already know what's next up because we have the things planned and scheduled. And I know the next one is a banger. Like it's like a one of them gems in anime. So this one though is just this second tear is been tough. But outside of that,
sound like you're wasting your time, buddy.
We'll discuss and see how we feel Thursday. Like, all right, depending on how this viewing goes, are we going to keep going or are we going to drop? And we can have that discussion together as a team.
All right.
As far as the Anime Chat podcast, everybody will get that Thursday morning. Biggest things from that this week, besides the regular stuff, we'll be doing our impressions and reviews of the Overlord Sacred Kingdom movie because we all want to see that together. And also this weekend, they dropped on Amazon Prime the Look Back movie, which is a one-shot from the creator of Chainsaw Man. Mm-hmm. They dropped that movie on Amazon, so we've all watched that. We're going to do the same thing with that one. So look for those two this week. Yeah, those will be big things for this week coming up.
Sounds good.
And Jokes should be joining us. Just because he did go to the movies with us to see the movie. So fingers crossed.
I got nothing.
He showed up to the movies, I would say.
I got nothing. Look, before we get out of here, I want to take a minute to just thank everybody who came out over the weekend to help us celebrate 10 years of Loading Snacks. It was really cool to kind of hang out with everybody in person and spend some time. Like, we didn't really. I'm gonna tell you what I found the most interesting, and the thing I think was the most special about it was that. Like we went to Dave and Buster's, we're gamers, we do, but like we didn't play games. Like we literally just hung out and talked.
How my heart was crushed when I came here. I was like, yeah, ain't no more pool tables. I was like, what y'all mean ain't no more pool tables?
There's like two pool tables or something like that.
Yeah,
but we didn't even move from where we were. Like it wasn't even.
Nah, it was cool.
Yeah, we had a really good time just hanging out and talking and joking with each other and talking about old times and just eating and hanging out and having good food and so forth. And so it was just like really cool to do that. And it really has motivated me to kind of look more at getting us into a place where we do more meetups and stuff like that. Like I do want to do more of that kind of thing. So definitely, look for some stuff on the horizon as we get into 2025 and we kind of look at how we want to shape things going forward. But again, thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out. And on that note, even though we try not to make it about that, for the people who took the time to say happy birthday and that kind of thing, they do happen to coincide on being the same day for me. So thank you to everybody who, reached out and sent messages and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool to have that. So thank you for that. We're gonna get out of here. We got some stuff we still gotta prep and get things ready for this weekend. And then we get a little bit of a break. As we go into the holiday and then get ready for Ocean City. So we have some things planned for weekly over the next coming weeks as we prep for what Ocean City is gonna be for us. So look forward to that. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with us. And in Jokes' absence, I want to tell you that Just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea. With that, we're out. Toodles and loose.
Loading snacks.